G'day folks. Well, I picked this 1 ton girder trolley up off a second-hand machinery dealer that I know, about 20 bucks worth, not bad. I've been needing one of these for a while. I've got an overhead gantry with a homemade one, which is for light loads. That's a 12mm cylinder head bolt through a solid high density PE roller, but the problem is the chain drags here under load and it's a pain in the ass to move along. So even though the bolt has a braking strength of over a ton, or a shear strength, it's not to be relied upon too much and it's a pain to use. So I've actually got myself a proper one finally, which is not something that shows up every day. I mean, you can go out and buy a new one, but I'd rather get a decent cheap second handy. So I'm going to show you how I set it up. I have to remove some of the spacers, all of the spacers by the looks of it, because these are way too far apart. This gird is probably the smallest you'd want to run it on, but I'm hoping I can do it without having to machine these down, because they're just solid spacers. It's just a big bolt going through the centre of it, and all these extra spacers are for bigger girders, or possibly even running on the top of a channel or something like that. You just take them out and put them on the other side to space them out. Yeah, so let's get this thing split in two. I've got to take these nuts off and pull the bolt out, and then we'll have a closer look at it, give it a clean up and go from there. Yeah, since I can't just slide this onto one end of the beam, I have to assemble this up there. I can also get rid of these loose spacers and just use washers if I want to. They're just big spacers, so you can save on the washers. I'll put them on the outside and bring these right in so that it straddles that, what would only be about 8mm thick web. So that's a good thing. So I'll get all this apart, clean it up, and just do some trials, removing more spacers, adding more spacers, and get it just right. Yeah, I gave it a bit of a wipe down with some Shifty and it came up pretty good. It's actually got the range printed on here, 64 to 210mm beam. So this is a 64 and it's 65 and it's right in there, so that's ideal. It'll work just fine. Just got to adjust the spacers accordingly. But that's the idea. I just got to put some stops in so when we get down here it doesn't hit that overhang. Like, it probably won't go any further once it's bolted, it won't try and separate, but I'm just going to put a stop plate just about there so the end stops hit it. But that's pretty damn good. It's rated to 1 ton, almost 2,000 pounds, 1,800 pounds. So it's pretty good. Way overkill for what I'm doing. I mean, a 12mm cylinder head bolt is way strong enough for the kind of thing I'm lifting. I mean, I lifted the Yanmar with it, but that's only a few hundred kilos. The block and tackle only goes up to half a ton, and the shear force or shear strength of a cylinder head bolt's probably a couple of ton. Even a 10mm mild steel bolt, the actual shear force is pretty incredible. It takes quite a bit of force to shear a 10mm bolt. So yeah, you can lift things with the dodgiest of things, but just don't trust them. Whereas something like this, you can trust it pretty well. But of course, never work under a suspended load anyway, and always stay fairly clear, because if the chain block fails and it drops, you don't want to lose an arm or a leg or your life. So yeah, lifting stuff, always be careful with it. Just like electricity and anything like that, just be careful. Don't do anything silly. Okay, well, after a bit of playing around, it seems those spacers are the minimum required amount. I could probably use these thicker washers, but I don't know what the advantage is, because it's trying to spread, and by spreading it's trying to compress all of this, so it's probably better that the washers are on the outside. Yeah, I'm not really going to mess around with it too much, I just want to get the thing up there. So I'll break it in half enough to get it over the beam and try and one-man this. It's not too heavy, so I can still lift it with my left arm. I'm right-handed, so if I can lift it with my left hand, it's not too hard to get up there on my own. I just got to break it down again and go from there. Alright, there we go. Job done. I can hang my loose chain on the protruding bolts. Moves a lot better than the old one, which, as it turns out, I engineered a bit more, well, a bit better than I thought. I've got a crush sleeve in there as well. with a bit of lithium grease or something. But yeah, that works really well and it's solid enough. You can see I've even got a greasing point there. It does work. Is it 10.9 bolt? I think that's off the old BMW cylinder head. And high tensile chain too. That's not soft stuff, that's proper chain. But just got to put some stops in, safety stops, and it's done. So that's it. I'll cut this one down, I'll unbolt it, and yeah, thanks for watching.